Today, we're diving into a short but incredibly powerful letter from the ancient world, the book of Ephesians. Now, in just 6 chapters, it lays out this absolutely cosmic vision, a kind of blueprint for unifying everything in heaven and on earth. So yeah, let's get right into it.
Right from the start, the author doesn't just offer some friendly advice. No, he frames this whole thing as pulling back the curtain on a secret. He calls it a mystery, something that's been kept under wraps for ages, but is now finally being revealed. So you have to ask, right? What is this big secret at the heart of everything?
Okay, so to really get this mystery, you have to see how the letter's put together. The first half, chapters 1 to 3, is all about the big idea. It's the why behind everything else, the theological foundation for it all. And here it is. This is the big reveal. The secret plan is all about cosmic reconciliation. The ultimate goal, according to Ephesians, is to bring total unity to everything. We're talking the spiritual realm, the physical world, all of it, and bring it all together under the leadership of Christ. I mean, that is a breathtakingly ambitious vision.
So, a cosmic plan sounds great, but how does it actually play out on a human level? Well, there's one crucial concept that acts as the engine for this whole thing, and that word is grace. It's an idea that's woven through this entire letter.
Now, the way this letter defines grace is pretty revolutionary, especially for its time. Think about it. In a world where most religions were all about earning favor from the gods through works and sacrifices, this was a total game changer. The letter is crystal clear. Grace is the gift of God. It's not something you earn by being good, not by works. And the whole point is to completely level the playing field, so that, as it says, no one can boast.
And this grace, it's not just a nice idea. It leads to this profound, total transformation. The letter presents it as a really stark before and after. In the then column, humanity is described as spiritually dead. But then you look at the now column, and it's a complete 180. People are made alive with Christ and are even seated in the heavenly realms. It's a complete shift in who you are.
All right, so this new identity we're talking about, it isn't just an individual thing. The letter argues it has massive social consequences. It applies this huge unifying plan to one of the deepest, most bitter divisions of the ancient world.
You have to understand, for centuries, there was this massive cultural, ethnic, and religious wall separating Jews from non-Jews, the Gentiles. And this wasn't just some minor disagreement. The letter actually calls it hostility. For these two groups to even share a meal was a huge deal. This wall seemed absolutely permanent.
But then, the letter drops this absolute bombshell. It declares that in Christ, this dividing wall of hostility has been completely destroyed, demolished. Those who were once considered foreigners and excluded are now fellow citizens and members of God's household. The two rival groups have been brought together to form one single, new, unified humanity.
And that brings us to the second half of the letter. So if the first part was the why, the big theological vision, then chapters 4 through 6 are the so what now. This is where it shifts from deep theology to really practical instructions on how this new, unified community is actually supposed to live.
And here's what's so important. This practical advice isn't just a random list of rules. It's a direct result of that new identity we just talked about. The logic is really simple. Because you are now this new, unified people, you should start living in a way that actually reflects that amazing reality.
The instructions here are so concrete. The author uses this great metaphor of changing your clothes. You put off the old self, like a dirty garment, and you put on the new self. And notice this, it's brilliant. Every negative behavior you're supposed to stop has a positive action to replace it. You don't just stop lying, you speak truthfully. You don't just stop stealing, you work so you have something to share.
So as the letter builds to its grand finale, it gets real. It admits that living this new, unified life, well, it's not a walk in the park. And to deal with the challenges, it offers one of the most famous metaphors in the entire Bible as a kind of toolkit.
This right here is a huge shift in perspective. The author says the real enemy, the true obstacle to unity, isn't other people. It's not a struggle against flesh and blood. No, the fight is framed as a spiritual one, against these unseen forces of chaos and darkness.
And it just makes sense, right? If the battle is spiritual, then your defense has to be spiritual too. The answer isn't to fight fire with fire. The answer is to put on the full armor of God, which is this incredible metaphorical defense system for standing firm.
And each piece of this armor stands for a vital part of this new life. You've got truth, righteousness, peace, faith,
salvation, and the Spirit. Altogether, they create this complete framework for spiritual resilience.
So, after all that, what's the one big thing we're supposed to walk away with? You know, from the cosmic vision way back in chapter 1, all the way to the practical instructions at the end, there is one central driving theme: unity. Okay, let's pull all this together. Ephesians lays out this massive vision of God uniting everything in the cosmos, and it says this is all made possible through the free gift of grace. This grace is so powerful it can tear down real-world walls of hate, creating one new people. And then, the letter gives us a practical guide for how to actually live that out.
And that kind of leaves us with one last big thought. This letter was written to a specific group of people dealing with their own specific divisions. But if its core message about unity is really timeless, then it makes you ask, doesn't it? What are the dividing walls that exist in our world today? And what would it even look like to start tearing them down?